thought it would be fun to hold these up in my thumbnail, and this isn't even all the mugs I own. For somebody who lives in a bachelor's suite, I have a mug problem. Hi YouTube, it's Kathy, and I'm here today to do the coffee book tag. I was tagged to do this by Leah Jane from Where in the World is Leah Jane. Kathy from editing here, I know that's not her name. Her name is Leah Jane, but to all the boys I loved before has forever destroyed my ability to say her name properly on camera. Leah Jane, that is your name. I am so sorry, Leah. A very long time ago, I want to say it's been 4 or 5 months. And listen, I'm not the best at always doing tags when I'm actually tagged because I don't expect to be tagged, because when I started out doing tags, nobody was tagging me, I was just doing them, so sometimes I forget. In any case, this tag has 8 questions and I haven't looked at any of them, so let's see how well I do with zero preparation besides getting half my mugs out of my cabinet. The first one is black. Name a series that's tough to get into but has hardcore fans. For this one, I'm going to go with the Wizard of Earthsea series by Ursula K. Le Guin. I have heard so many people talk about this author and talk about this series, and I tried to read the first book and I DNF'd it. The writing is super clunky. Basically, there's a lot that happens in each chapter, but it doesn't happen in a way that is easy to read. The writing is basically, and then the main character did this, and then he did this, and then he did this, and then he did this, and it's not entertaining at all. One of my friends at work recently struggle bust her way all the way through the series and said it finally got good in around the 4th or the 5th book, and ain't nobody got time for that. Number 2, Peppermint Mocha. Name a book that gets more popular during the holiday season. Well, there's obviously Let It Snow, which is getting an adaptation, which I'm excited to see. From my admittedly limited knowledge on the subject, Santa Erotica gets more popular during the holiday season. If you've never heard of that, you should be listening to Every Kink in a Book, in which my friends Sarah and Rebecca talk about kinks in literature, and then also maybe you should check out my Drunk Reading Christmas Erotica for the Holidays video, because I had a lot of fun making it. Number 3, hot chocolate. What is your favorite children's book? How dare you make me pick a favorite children's book. Same thing. I'm going to cheat completely on this one and just go the entirety of the Nancy Drew books. I have about 50 of them. They're on my bookshelf. They're stacked behind other books because I haven't read them in over 20 years, and I'm kind of scared to, because seeing as they're older books, I'm sure there's some very problematic content in there. However, I read the crap out of Nancy Drew's until I got to about the age of 12, which is when I started reading books with swearing in them. So that was the point in my life where I became trash for Christopher Pike. Also around the same time, I definitely read a lot of Fear Street because my little brother was into Goosebumps, and okay, yeah, those were pretty good too, but Fear Street was like the teenage version of Goosebumps. And now I'm just talking about nostalgic books from my childhood instead of picking one favorite book, because I can't do that. Number 4 is Double Shot of Espresso. Name a book that kept you on the edge of your seat. Ooh, okay. What was the last book I read where I really needed to know how it ended like now? The good thing about being a complete nerd is you keep spreadsheets of your reading, and you can check to see when was the last time you read a book within a day or 2. So the most recent book I read all in one day was To Be Honest by Maggie Ann Martin. This one tore through my heart a little bit. This one is about a fat, brainy teenager whose mom recently went on one of those reality weight loss shows and lost a lot of weight way too quickly, and is now very go, go, go about this not very good lifestyle she's now leading. And the mom looks down on her daughter for being overweight, and it makes her feel like she looks bad when the show does recaps and it's like, where are they now segments, and she has a fat teenage daughter, and she feels her own self-worth go down because of this. And there was a lot to unpack, and as somebody who's never been skinny, I definitely related to a lot of things that happened, and I definitely cried. And then I told Twitter that I cried, which made the author cry, and it was a whole big thing. So although I originally read this thinking it was going to be a thriller because I was going to want to see what happened next with death and everything like that, that's the answer I'm gonna go with because it's a little bit different. Number 5 is Starbucks. Name a book you see everywhere. And let me tell you, friends, I work at a library, so I see lots of books everywhere. There's certain books when they come through the library for me to check in, I know that they're going to have a hold on them, and one of them is Washington Black. I've seen this one come in many times, and I've never checked it in when it didn't have a hold. I, however, have not read it yet because obviously the holds list is very long, so at some point, maybe. Jodi Picoult's A Little Spark of Light is also very popular right now, at least at my library. Number 6 is That Hipster Coffee Shop. Give a book by an indie author a shout out, and I think that this is an indie author. Let's double check. So being an indie author is primarily an approach to writing and publishing a matter of self-definition, which gives me so much wiggle room. So even though I think this book has a publishing house that has put it out, I believe it was a very small one, I'm gonna go with it. The book is Peter Darling by Austen Chant. This is a retelling of Peter Pan that is queer. Number 7 is Oops, I Accidentally Got Decaf. Name a book you were expecting more from. Let's go to my spreadsheet and find out something that I didn't rate very highly. For this one, let's go with Hurricane Child by Karen Callender. This one I didn't really know what to expect going into it because I read most of my books not knowing what's going to happen in them because that's how I like to do it. I got genre whiplash by this one because it seemed like it was going to be kind of a little bit magical and then it was mostly contemporary, and I didn't really know what it was meant to be, and I didn't really like it as much as the hype would suggest. And the 8th and final question is the perfect blend. Name a book or series that was both bitter and sweet but ultimately satisfying. And for this one I am always going to recommend Words in Deep Blue by Kath Crowley. This one is very, very sad because it deals with grief and loss of a family member, but it's also very sweet at times because it deals with friendship and people finding each other again. And it's all set in a bookshop, and you know I love a bookish book, and that's why I always recommend this one. And there you have it. That is the coffee book tag. If you would like to do this tag, consider yourself tagged. All of the questions are down below because I'm not a monster. Have you read any of the books I mentioned? If so, let me know about it down in the comments below. On the way down to the comments, if you hit that subscribe button, that would be very nice of you. You can like and share this as you see fit, and I will see you very soon. Bye!